Hey, Regicide, I told you the story of Noah and the Ark last time, one of my mom's favorite stories. This is a story that my dad loved, and there's a story that goes with it. When I was 15, 16, in the youth group at church, we had a shut in, lock in thing where, we got together and we stayed inside the we stayed inside a church. We did it with another church in the area, and just hanging out, reading the Bible, doing different things. But it started out before with there was a puppet show, and the puppet show told the parable of the prodigal son. And my dad was pulled out of the audience to help. I get pulled out of the audience to help. I help anyway. I don't know. It's sort of like a family thing. We get grabbed to do stuff. But my dad went and helped, and he was, holding up the sheet for the puppet show. And part of it was that he was backing up the thing, backing up the people. And one of the things he was supposed to say was killed the fatted calf. Except he stumbled the words fatted calf and it came out Catted Faff. And after that, it just became a running joke with the youth group, the Catted Faff. So my dad kind of goofed the story, but I'll never forget the Catted Faff. The story of the prodigal son goes like this. This is a story that Jesus told. So there was a man who had two sons, older son, younger son. And the way things worked was, when the father died, his kids would get the money. And he was fairly well off. He had people who worked for him. And so the younger son came up to him and said, Dad, I want I want my money now. I know that you're going to die eventually, but I'd like my inheritance now. And the father said, okay. And so he divided up his property and he gave half of it to his younger son. And so he gave half of it to the younger son. And the younger son went off to a foreign country with a large amount of money. I mean, this was, he was a fairly well off guy. And so the younger son took the money and went off to a foreign country and spent it on the proverbial wine, women, and song. So, he was just partying and drinking and having a grand old time. And eventually the money ran out. And he's like, what am I going to do? So he went around and he found a job working as a pig herder. But they didn't pay him that much. And the pigs were eating better than he was. He's like, this is just terrible. Pigs are eating better than I am. I'm living as a pig herder. The men who work for my dad live better than I do. So I'm going to go home and say, Dad, I was wrong. Just take me on as a hired hand. Forgive me. So the young man went back to his father, and the father saw him coming from far off and ran and hugged his son. It gave him jewelry, told his servants to go and kill the fatted calf. So the way this worked was, there wasn't meat every day, and meat was kind of a special thing. And having a whole cow, especially a big fat cow with lots of greasy, so good. But that was a very rare occurrence back then. And so we slaughtered the cow, and everyone ate and everyone feasted for days. I mean, it was just this massive party. And the older son was like, Dad, he took half your money. And I have been here working all of these years, never asking for anything. I ask occasionally for a goat to have with my friends, and you say no. But yet here he comes back after wasting all of your money. And you throw him this huge party. And the father said, you're always with me. But this, my son, is lost. He was now found. So That's the story of the prodigal son, that you can be welcomed back for making mistakes. And forgiveness is a very powerful thing. And when you ask for forgiveness, you often get rewarded far, far more than you expect or deserve. So don't be afraid to forgive. Always forgive. Don't be afraid to ask for forgiveness. If you make a mistake, own up to it. And remember my dad and the Catted Faff. Have a great day, Rowan.